The Seattle Kraken have a new head coach in Lane Lambert, but what impact will that have on the team? We've got that and a lot more coming up next on today's Locked On NHL podcast.
You're Locked On NHL, your daily podcast on the National Hockey League. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Gil Martin here, and welcome everybody to the Monday edition of the Locked On NHL podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I want to thank everyone who makes Locked On NHL your first listen every day. Don't forget to subscribe on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts so you never miss an episode. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new FanDuel customers can get $200 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. It is my pleasure to welcome back to the show the host of Locked On Kraken, Erica L. Ayala, and exciting times in Kraken land right now. A new head coach in Lane Lambert. What was your initial reaction to the selection of Lane Lambert?
Yeah, I think, well, first, always, Gil, thanks for having me on here. Lovely to chat with the NHL fan base. But yeah, I think that, we've been talking about Lane as a potential candidate. His name had been coming up. And so just trying to do our due diligence there. Where the Seattle Kraken stands, another head coach going on our third now in going into our fifth season. Of course, the fan base of the Kraken is very intrigued. What are we doing? How is this new person now going to help? And honestly, what is the runway? So I think that it's a little bit of a mixed bag from me and the rest of the fans as far as, hey, we've seen what he's been able to do, limited head coach experience in the NHL, but has been in the NHL for a while and has had impact on penalty kill as well as defense for teams that he has been a part of the coaching staff. And those are areas, I mean, if you could dig up some stats on how he does or how his teams do on the power play, we'd take that as well. But I think it's not any reservations that I have or that we've been discussing on Locked On Kraken are not necessarily because of Lane Lambert himself, but more where the organization is currently, and that there's a pretty high bar and expectation that we're hearing. And so if it doesn't work out, what does that mean? Is it another coaching search? Are we going to stick it out? I think that's more of the sentiment right now is it's a hurry up and wait feeling that we're not really liking right now.
So where is the Kraken right now? Because, a couple of years ago, they make the playoffs, kind of a mild surprise that they made it, in their second season of existence. And then you have 2 seasons after that where they kind of took a step backwards, at least in the standings. I know there's some young talent there, but where does this team perceive itself to be? And are they where they think they are?
Yes, those are 2 great questions, Gil. And again, I don't know the answer from the organization perspective. What we've been talking a lot about on Locked On Kraken is that you have our ownership group in Sam Holloway and Ted Lywicki saying, this is not a rebuild. We want to be a perennial playoff team. We've been talking about that a perennial playoff team as soon as possible. Then you have our new now general manager, Jason Botterill, saying, this isn't going to be a one move fix, whether that's a trade or through the draft, which I agree with. We're going to develop and give our young talent opportunity. Agree with that. But those seem a little bit opposite of each other. And so where is the middle ground? Is there a middle ground that can be created? Because not being in a rebuild as soon as possible doesn't align with we're going to play our young talent and what we know to be true, that it's more than just one thing that this Kraken team needs. Are we going to buy out Philip Grubauer, who we sent to the AHL last season? If we do, what does that mean about finding another goaltender that can work as well alongside Joey Daccord or be even better for us? And if that happens, how does that impact what we have as far as draft capital, as far as salary cap to then fill in the holes that we have defensively for a true scorer offensively? So those are a lot of things. And to answer your question, your two questions, we just don't know. We don't know where this organization is, and we don't know the true vision right now. Can we give some grace? Again, new GM, now a new head coach, sure. And what's the real timeline? Because a lot of the things that we're saying, we also said when we brought in Dan Bylsma, who was successful in our AHL system. So I don't know. The only thing I can think is that there was a power struggle or something that Bylsma did that was beyond ignoring, that didn't jive well with the front office, maybe even the players, and that's why he's gone. Because otherwise, I feel like we're in the same position, except now starting again with a new head coach.
What do you think Lane Lambert brings to the table, and how do you see his style fitting in with this roster as it exists right now?
Yeah, I alluded to it. We need to clean up special teams. The PK actually wasn't as bad as the power play for the majority of the time. I get the sense that there's some patience, there's some poise there. Again, what he's been able to do as far as getting teams to buy in defensively, that seems to be something that aligns with what the needs are for the Seattle Kraken. The questions I have, and again, this goes back to first youth and young talent, and then second, what I surmise maybe was the issue with Bylsma. I'll start with the young talent. Is he going to be someone either that leans into that truly, because that's what we need, or can he be someone that empowers and entrusts who we believe will remain on the coaching staff in Jessica Campbell? That's a question that I have. And then the other thing is, what were the Kraken looking for? This is another, veteran, we'll say seasoned coach, not someone who's young and will kind of be learning alongside perhaps some of the young talent. So is this a person who we feel is aligning because he's going to get this roster motivated? Or is this someone that was hired to maybe get along a little bit better with, again, whatever the vision is for the front office and ownership? And I don't know that we're going to have those answers right away. I mean, it's just been a couple of days since the guy got hired. But those are the things that I'll be looking for, how he can integrate or kind of put that responsibility on really true player development on Jessica Campbell, but also how he's able to interact with the front office and ownership group.
Any players you think will definitely benefit from Lane Lambert's addition, and any players who you think may be on the way out because Lane Lambert has been added?
Yeah, another really great question. And some of these questions I know we're gonna have you on Locked On Kraken to maybe answer a little bit, but I think it boils down to this. He has some experience with players like Andre Burakovsky. I mentioned already Philip Grubauer, even a Jordan Eberle, who is our captain right now, coming off of a really tough injury, but looked good in his comeback. So if there's familiarity there, maybe that can help, because these are guys that are, if not our true leadership, they're, of course, again, older veteran players. And maybe that's a way to bridge that gap, but and get that group ready to go. I do think that there was a little bit of a rift between how much time was spent on the youth versus how much attention was paid to some of the veterans that we need to get activated under Dan Bylsma. So maybe that's what Lane Lambert can do, is really bridge that gap a little bit more, have everyone know where they stand on their true footing. But for me, it has to be a both and. It can't be one or the other. It has to be a coach that can come in and motivate young players, let them know where they stand, give them opportunities to perform, while also setting veterans up to do what they were contracted to do with the Seattle Kraken. And I think we've missed the mark at times with Andre Burakovsky. He's been injured. I think we've really asked a lot of Jared McCann, which honestly has pulled him away from what he does best for this team. So those are the things that I'm hoping. And if he can do a great balance of, again, getting our veteran scorers that we have actively on the roster motivated, activated, while also bringing up the young people, I think that would be the ideal situation given all of the unknowns that we have right now.
Well, it's going to be an eventful rest of this offseason, I'm sure, and looking forward to seeing how things go with Lane Lambert once the season gets underway. Erica, why don't you tell our viewers and our listeners where they could find the podcast and where they could find you on social media?
Surely. Well, of course, like every other Locked On show, you can find Locked On Kraken on YouTube and wherever you listen to audio podcasts. As far as the show and myself, you can find the show on TikTok. We're mostly using TikTok, Locked On Kraken. And for me, you can find me at on Blue Sky at elindsay08. So hope you listen in and give us a follow, everyone.
All right. Thank you so much, Erica.
Thank you.
Today's episode is brought to you by your friends at FanDuel. The NBA playoffs are in full swing, and every night delivers highlight-worthy performances, major momentum shifts, and can't-miss moments. Whether it's a game-winning shot or a breakout player, there's never been a better time to get in on the action. FanDuel makes it easy to stay in the game before tip-off and live. With player props, performance trends, and same-game parlays, fans have more ways than ever to play smart and win big. And hockey fans, you can check out all the latest odds for the Stanley Cup Finals, which get underway later this week. If you're new to FanDuel, this is the perfect time to sign up. Head to FanDuel.com and place your first $5 bet. If it wins, you get $200 in bonus bets. Again, that's FanDuel.com. Place that first $5 bet, and if it wins, you get $200 in bonus bets. So make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NBA.